with the Ormond Beach Regional Library, and today on this episode of Volusia Gets Crafty, I'm going to show you how to crochet in the back loop. This is the first texture stitch in our beginner series, and in the end we'll mix one of the texture stitches with the beginner stitches to learn how to create this sand dollar coaster. So why don't you grab your hook and some yarn and let's go get started. Okay, so today we're going to be learning how to crochet in the back loop. So we're going to take our yarn and we're going to create a slip knot. And you can crochet in the back loop using any stitch, but for today we're going to learn using the single crochet. So we're going to start off by chaining 10, so yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We're going to add in one extra chain. That's just going to be a turning chain, so we're not going to put anything in that one. You're going to go right into the second chain from the hook, get under that top loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops are on your hook, yarn over and pull through both. So there's your first single crochet. You're going to go into your next chain and create another single crochet. And we're going to do that all the way across your chain, putting a single crochet in each, and I'll meet you at the end. So I've come back to the end of my first row, and because we chained 10, we had that extra chain that we didn't do anything into, so we just went into the 10 chains, so we should have 10 single crochets going back across. So this is a good time to look at our stitches. So in the previous videos we've been working into the tops of the stitches, which means when you go under you'll have the 2 loops on your hook, right? You see the little V? But what we're going to be working into today is the back loop. So this one here that's closest to you would be the front loop, and then the one in behind that is your back loop, and that's what we're going to be working into. Now it's easy to see your stitches like this, right? But remember what we do? We chain 1 and we turn our work, so we're not going to be able to see it as well. So we're going to do that. Now when you chain 1, it's not the same as when you're chaining 3 and it counts as a double crochet. This chain 1 doesn't count as anything, so we want to go into the very first stitch, which was this first V right here. Now the V is harder to see, so turn it upside, turn it to the side so you can see. And your front loop is now this one here, and your back loop is the one that sits a little bit lower. So you want to go just under that loop, put your yarn over your hook, pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through 2. That first one's a little hard because you've got your chain right next to it. So here's your next stitch. The loop that's closest towards you is the front loop. We want to go into the one further away, which is the back loop. Just get that one loop over your hook. And then we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. That's another single crochet. So we're going to keep doing that all the way across, going into the back loop only, the one that's further away from you, and making single crochets all the way across. And what this does, you guys, is because we're not going into the front part of the stitch, the front loop, is it's going to leave it behind and create really neat texture. Go all the way across. There should be 10 single crochets in the back loops by the time you're done. Now don't forget this last one because it's kind of connected to that turning chain, but you don't want to forget that or we'll start skewing our work. So go into the back loop of that last one. And there we go. So do you see this ridge that goes along here? That's your front loops that we didn't do anything into, and that's what's creating the texture. So it's just that same thing. We'll chain 1 and turn our work, and you'd go into the back loop of your very first stitch and do another single crochet, and you'll work your rows the same each time. Front loop we don't want to go into, the back loop is what we want. And you can do this, like I said, with any stitch. So if you like double crochets, you could do double crochets in the back loop. That would look like this. See how much taller that is than a single crochet? But you could do that into the back loop. But I wanted to show you this one. This isn't a stitch we're using in the sand dollar coaster, but it will be coming up in December. I've got a project for a little crocheted hat ornament that uses single crochets in the back loops, and I thought this texture texture round would be a good time to present this technique. Okay, so we should have 10 more single crochets. And there's our ridge of the front loops that we didn't do anything into. So if you were to keep going on in that fashion, you would end up with something that looks like this. See all those neat ridges? And what's nice about this project, when you do that, when you're working into the front loops or the back loops of a project, is it's double-sided, so it looks good either way you have it. So it would make a really pretty scarf if you made it a little bit longer or a little bit wider. And if you turn it to the side, you can really see the texture. It almost looks like it's been crimped, doesn't it? And if you compare it just to a swatch of just plain single crochets that go into the tops of the loops, you can see it really is a whole lot more texturized. So it makes for a really neat, interesting looking stitch. So I want to thank you for joining me. Up next, we're going to be learning how to crochet a front post double crochet. If you have any questions, please comment below, and we'll see you next time.